Red button down.
Hard to tell if it's up or down. Easy
is.
when you talk. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members. This is sort of the third presentation you're going to hear over the past 2 days that is built around the theme of how do you successfully do collaboration, whether it is legislatively mandated, court-ordered. It is built around relationships. You heard that again this morning, that you can't mandate collaboration on the science community. It is built on relationships. You heard yesterday from a panel of the Coalition for Delta Projects that it's really most successful if you have clear objectives, if you have strength through partners, if you have funding, and particularly, and I'll get Susan Sherry's words right, if you have a maniacal problem solver working behind the scenes or in front of the scenes to make things happen. So this morning we're going to end with 2 and hopefully 3 when Jay gets here, maniacal problem solvers, to talk about how they have made some successful projects work, both from a 2006 legislation that created what became the Water Quality Monitoring Council. This was an effort to pull state agencies together who had been either, in some cases, monitoring but not sharing, in some cases not monitoring, and in many cases not talking with each other about how best to use the data or to make it available to the public. That was it will be an example of a legislative collaboration that has been successful. Program Director for CS, the Water Institute at Cal State Fresno, on behalf of the Water Quality Monitoring Council, Sarge Green is going to talk about that. We also have Robin Kuliko, who's the Executive Director of the Yolo Basin Foundation. It was a community-based nonprofit that was formed to help resolve some issues around developing the wildlife area, formed the Lower Yolo Bypass Working Group, and has been a really good example of how to bring people together to collaborate and solve problems. And so our third panelist, Jay Ziegler, is running just a little late. Jay is with the Nature Conservancy, and he's going to talk about the Cosumnes River Preserve. This was really an idea of TNC, in which they brought in other partners who are both land agencies and state agencies to preserve and protect an entire watershed on the Cosumnes River. But we'll start with Sarge and the Water Quality Monitoring Council.
Good morning, Sarge.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Hi, Randy. Supervisor Roostaller. Pleasure to be here today. I am a part of the council. I was, I think, 1 month later than it actually started. But I first of all wanted to give some credit. You have one of your previous speakers was actually one of the starters of the council's work as well. Val Connor came from the State Water Resources Control Board, was running the swamp program, and that was one of the core elements that got the council started, because that was establishing a lot of the ground rules that are now used in the council's efforts. So if I could have the PowerPoint up. The PowerPoint, it's pretty detailed, and I'm going to leave it behind because I'm going to speak more off of my experience as a council member and the process that we've gone through and everything to understand how it works and why it works and who's maniacal these days. It's not necessarily council members who we merely bless the activities that are going on. Let's see if it'll come up here. Is it?